obviously we never really talked about what was before your real estate journey.
Yeah.
On the podcast. So I think this is a great opportunity to tell people how you left the corporate environment. Like, and
I didn't leave the corporate environment.
the-
Corporate environment kicked me out.
yeah.
They said, "Get the out of here, boy. You're not worthy no more."
Well, and I think to a lot of people that will come as being a misfortune. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, you know,
Yeah, I
what's
would
next?
never
How
f-
can I find a
Yeah.
next job? But you were able to turn that, you know, misfortune into a seed
Absolutely.
that grew.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about that experience to be
Let's
able
do
to turn, you know, a misfortune into something that grew, especially in an environment where you were by yourself, quote unquote, with not, you know, a lot of people to where you can really bounce those ideas. It was really you yourself and your, you know, your mind
Yeah.
trying to figure this out. So how did you go about that to get into real estate?
It wasn't really how did I go about it. I always knew, just being in the corporate environment wasn't it.
Look, hell of an intro. I tell you what you info, but I never really been the type of dude to give no info. But if you see your ends low and you trying to get a benzo, I'll give your ass some game that'll change the way that you think, bro. Super skilled with the pencil, super ill in my mental. I reminisce on life, I'm nice, here's my memento. Get it through your tempo, I get on any tempo and give it all I got. I'm hot, I got like 10 flows, trying to live on the 10th floor, across from residentials that I own. My mind stayed grown, I used to think clothes, I really used to think hoes and what I do to get those. And then I switched it up, I'm only thinking potential.
We are back with a dun 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 dun. Another one. I
What
like
was that?
I don't know. It's just a beat that was going through my head.
This guy, you've been watching a lot of movie lately?
No, I haven't turned on my TV yet thinking like, sure.
You don't have a
Man,
TV?
I do.
Where do you
I-
live? You live in the street these days?
I could if I wanted to. I just don't have, I would say, the time allocated to watching TV. Even the shows that me and my girl watch, we're falling behind. Happens every week, but it's okay. We'll get back, right? We can just binge watch one day,
Yeah.
and that's it.
That's true. And it's not a priority at this time anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other things you want to do. But we're here today and we're going to talk real estate.
Real estate,
And
real estate,
we're
real estate,
gonna
real
talk
estate, real estate, real estate, real estate.
I'm expecting this guy to provide all the info because he's
Wow, way to put me on the
quote-unquote.
spot. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't.
That's
Should
fine.
we?
I'm gonna edit that. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because so for those of you who are listening, we're running audio and video at the same time. So
True.
and I have to kind of coordinate how I'm gonna edit these things while Ron talks to us about real estate.
So what do you want to know, my man?
Why did you get into that mess of
It's
market?
not a mess. It's fun, man. It could be a headache to begin with. I think anything you start is going to be tough. It's going to be that's always going to be a challenge. But why did I get into real estate? I got into real estate really to give myself the knowledge to be able to ultimately create generational wealth. Now, I'm probably sounding extremely selfish here, right? So that's part of the reason why I got into it. Another reason was to be able to help people. I don't come from having the knowledge, so I wanted to gain the knowledge so that I can go ahead and do exactly what we're going to do here today, share that knowledge, give you guys all the juice, give you guys all the gems so that you guys can go ahead and accomplish your goals out there, which may result around buying a home, which may result around, creating generational wealth. I personally think real estate is the one vehicle that allows that. If you want time freedom, and that's one of those bad boys that's going to help you get there. But that's why I really got started, is to give back the knowledge, be able to provide to the community in itself. I think real estate, again, you're primarily impacting people moving in and out. So you have direct access to people who actually need homes. You have direct access to a certain community to be able to help them.
Interesting. You mentioned that I hear that often. Real estate, generational wealth. What's that connection? What is that generational wealth? To you. How do we, define that? Because I've heard that multiple times where an individual was trying to do that. So what does that mean to you?
Generational wealth. What does it
Yes.
mean to me? Being able to help me being gone and still being the generations that come behind me, still being impacted by what I've done today.
Okay. And this is not just bloodline, or is it
Well,
just bloodline?
this is primarily bloodline. I mean,
Gotcha.
however, whoever wants to know how to create that, then I'll be more than happy to share the gems, in person.
Do you plan on teaching like the real estate aspect to, family member and whatnot?
Of real estate?
Yeah, in
I
terms
mean,
of like
whoever's interested, yeah.
in terms of like guiding people through the journey that you took, to get where you got. Did you think if there's ever a demand, whether it's within the family or friends that may want to navigate that path, would
Yeah,
you be
absolutely.
willing to guide them through that?
Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to
So what's
help
your
anybody, not even just family, just anybody that's interested in, just real estate in itself. Whether it's, we're joining as joining partner, having a partnership, or whether that's just you wanting to see, get more information. I mean, even to this day, I've had people hit me up today. It's like, hey, what's real estate like? I'm thinking about it, and I just give my feedback in terms of my experience.
What's your you've been in the game for what? How long now?
It's a year and a half, I think.
What was your like a moment you realized, hey, I'm here, I'm good, I'm gonna stay in this game? When did you realize that you did this? Is before you started, or mid, or after the first one you closed? Like how? When did you realize I like this game? I'm gonna stay here.
I don't know when I've made that decision, but I knew, again, going back to who I am, I told myself I'm going to learn real estate. I'm going to figure this out, right? I'm going to create something that I could go ahead and, pass down. That was the moment I made the decision. I'm going to get into real estate, which was in 2020. So ever since then, it's been boots on the ground and let's get this done. Now, when have I realized, like, okay, this is reality? I think after I got my license, after I got licensed, after taking all those tests, all those classes, all the hours of classes they make you take, I would say that's when I realized, okay, this is reality. After finally passing all that, it's like now you get to actually practice it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I remember you. Obviously, we never really talked about what was before your real estate journey on the podcast. So I think this is a great opportunity to tell people how you left the corporate environment.
I didn't leave the corporate environment. Corporate environment kicked me out.
Yeah.
They said, get out of here, boy. You're not worthy no more.
And I think to a lot of people that will come as being a misfortune. It's like, hey, what's next? How can I find another job? But you were able to turn that, misfortune into a seed that grew.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about that experience to be able to turn, a misfortune into something that grew, especially in an environment where you were by yourself, quote unquote, with not, a lot of people to where you can really bounce those ideas. It was really you yourself and your mind trying to figure this out. So how did you go about that to get into real estate?
It wasn't really how did I go about it. I always knew, just being in the corporate environment wasn't it. I just knew, like, even when I left, when they booted me, when they give me the nice little boot, I already knew I wasn't gonna be there. So I kind of.
You told them. You said you told them that you were not gonna be there.
There's a few coworkers I used to work with, obviously.
So you called that upon yourself, right?
Yeah, I think I did. Just by me, kind of already, kind of putting into the universe, the air, like, hey, I'm not gonna be here for long, and everyone's like, what are you gonna do? I said, I'm not doing this. So I already knew at a very early stage that I wasn't going to be doing that for a very long time. And it's, you kind of just see things for what they are. The more and more you're doing certain things. And I just didn't really find a real true joy, passion into it. And I always say, man, don't do something that you hate. So when I've identified, like, man, this is not it. This is not what I see for myself. I immediately start looking for, all right, what am I going to actually do? And that would 2018. We're talking 2018. I'm doing all of this. Like, it didn't take long for me to find it because I was constantly looking. So that's really what that looked like. So yeah, I think I kind of put it on myself, which is fine. But turning that misfortune into something special is because I already knew, hey, what's coming. I kind of already knew what shift, what adjustments were needed to be made in order for me to make something special happen. If you're just thinking about it when the misfortune happens, man, you're gonna be all over the place because you're already thinking, oh my gosh, what do I do? You're gonna be lost. I kid you guys not. The day that I was let go, what was I doing? I was screaming. I was like, let's go. They set me free. Yeah. That's literally what I'm saying. I was screaming, let's go. They set me free because I knew now what was next. I knew now, hey, I had to do what I had to do. This is the opportunity. This is the time. I cannot let this opportunity go. I have to maximize it. It was just so many things going through my mind. It's like, this is the moment. This is the moment you were asking for. Here it is. Now make it happen.
Now, looking back, you did it. You're here.
And I'm still at it.
You're still going at it. What is one key advice that you have for those who are either looking to make that same, transition, or, let's start there. Let's start.
I think planning. Really, truly, indeed, plan. Know yourself. Know what you want to do, and just start planning it out. Again, my decision wasn't made overnight. My decision took about 2 years, I would say, for me to actually make this decision to do that. So planning, man, plan it out. And don't plan it to the point where you're like, I'm going to do this on this day. Nah, just truly indeed look at, hey, what do you want to do? And start doing the research. Start doing the due diligence to figure that stuff out, to see if it's even something you enjoy. Again, I was looking to different avenues prior to getting that boot. So I kind of had an idea of where I was going to go. It was just a matter of when.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that you also did, and I think it's worth mentioning because we all go through it, and I think we talked about it briefly on our last episode, as the fact that you did not stick to what you went to school for. You decided to go out there, get some specialized knowledge to, a skill of your interest, and turn that into, your future endeavors. Yeah. So it's like you could have easily just say, hey, I went to school for so and so, I'm gonna stick to that,
Yeah.
But you decided to go out there, you took the initiative to spend money, even more out of your pocket at this point, and get that education for you to then open more doors for yourself.
Yeah, I will say I'm very grateful for the degree that I have, though. I have it in economics, so having a degree in economics, it kind of still correlates to even this industry in itself, because you kind of want to, hey, when you're working with clients, you want to kind of prepare them for what may come, so to make sure that they have everything in their best interest, their best power to get that home, which it ultimately comes down to. So in situations like today, right, where a lot of people are unable to purchase homes now because interest rates are going up, so their buying power is decreasing. People are getting hurt. Mm-hmm. You have somebody on your side that can be like, hey, this is what may happen, this is what may occur. Then kind of like, hey, how the urgency. You essentially now have urgency. You now can move quickly before those things happen. And, no one ever can predict exactly when it's going to happen. But if you have an idea, at least you know what's, to come, so that you know exactly what you need to do in the present moment.
Yeah, that's good. Now, some people are struggling, especially in this time right now. Like, you talked about, like, first-time home buyer.
Sheesh.
What are some of the,
the
stuff that, first-time home buyers are struggling to, come across?
No one's prepared, man. I think it's... I shouldn't say no one.
Why is that? Within an era where we have so much information out there, so much, you're one Google search away from getting the necessary information. Why is that people are not prepared? What do you think, especially in the real estate environment?
No one plans. Everyone's just like, I want a home. I mean, I will say buying a home is not like anything else that we do. We cannot click a button, and it's not like that. I'm sure it will get to that point where we're able to click buttons and you have a home. But at the moment, at the moment, it is not like that. So yes, it's going to take time, and real estate is not cheap. I mean, whatever you think you can afford, So let's just say, and this is kind of like the spectrum I like to give a lot of people is if you're looking to purchase a home, let's just say 200,000, just take 2.5 to 3%. That right there is the number that you should be looking at that you should have available in cash, so that all right, if you have that, you at least can play. You, of course, don't get me wrong, you definitely want more because you don't know what is going to happen. You don't know what's going to occur. You want a safety net essentially, but at least that's a starting point. If you have that, whatever that dollar amount of home that you're available that you can purchase, if you have that in cash, 2.5 to 3%. You're at least you're in a good position to go ahead and pursue it and move forward with it. But I would just say it's just lack of preparation. It's part of the reason. Not a lot of people having cash. Education level in terms of how real estate actually operates and what works. The contracts. I mean, if you have a realtor, they'll be able to explain a lot for you. But if you're doing this on your own, it could be a little tougher, especially if you don't have the knowledge for it, the education of the contracts and just what's going on in the market space. And then I would say just everybody else buying homes. FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Right.
That's the last part that I would say. Everyone is like, hey, that person got a home, I can get one too. But it's like you don't know how long that person's been preparing for that. You don't know what that person's situation may not be the same situation that you're in. It may be completely different. So that's another thing. Just move on your timeline.
What are some of the steps that realtor or just anybody in the real estate environment can take to kind of help people like that, be prepared, like first time home buyer, be prepared? Because you see that a lot, and I feel like there's a lot of $1 million industry out there that, quote unquote, have the program to help people, but why is people still unprepared? Like,
you can't force people to save money. I mean, there's programs out there. Don't get me wrong. There are first-time home buyer programs. I wish I had the website right here on hand to give you guys. But if you were to Google, literally, NC first-time home buyer assistance or some first-time home buyer programs, you should see there's several of programs out there that help with, getting people down payments. There's stipulations to it, though. It's not just money that you're going to just get and be able to kind of do whatever. So it's strict stipulations that you have to obey.
Read the fine
print.
Right.
Obey for that money to be yours, for you to be able to get that. And those, again, my opinion, they're really strict. They're really strict. Like, I know one of them is, I think you can't do anything. You can't refinance the house. You can't sell the house in 15 years or something like that. So that truly indeed, hey, that right there is a great starting point, especially if you don't have it. But are you going to be able to stay there for 15 years? That's a serious question that you need to ask yourself.
It takes a deeper conversation. Yeah.
Right. 15 years is a very long time, because if it's before the 15 years, you got to cough up the money that they lend you.
Yeah. So it could be, depending on how you look at it, it could be beneficial to you right now, or it may not be.
To me?
To like any first-time home buyer.
It may be.
Any first-time home buyer that could be listening.
It may be. It all depends on what your plans are. Do you plan on being there for 15 years? I mean, not even at that specific home, but just, do you want to be in this area for 15 years, And then, do you want to be in this home for 15? That's the key thing. That's the one big thing that I could think of right now that I definitely think everyone, if you're going to use that, should understand. Because the moment you decide to say, I'm refinancing, or I'm getting out of this home, you're going to have a big bill.
All right. Let's talk about this real quick. I've come across a lot of individuals who are looking to be in the real estate, market as investor, and more than, just first-time home buyer. Now, for individuals like that, based on your experience and the people that you've come across, if somebody who wants to be, because I'm assuming, let's put it this way, these will be first-time, quote-unquote, investor, right? What would be your advice to them, and why?
What's your strategy? What are you trying to do? Number one, are you trying to buy and hold? Are you trying to flip? Are you trying to do short-term rentals, Airbnb? What else is there that you could do? You can wholesale. But, what are you actually trying to do? Because every single one is going to require a different plan. So yeah, if you want to buy and hold, you're gonna have a plan of, you want to buy, and obviously, how long do you want to hold? You want short-term rentals. Okay, well, how long are you going to be rentals? Are you going to be, day by day, week by week? Are you going to do months? What is that going to look like? Are you going to do wholesaling, which is, you essentially just finding someone to go ahead and assign the contract to get a fee for it? I think I say, are you going to fix and flip? Those, everything requires some sort of strategy going into it. So it's kind of hard to give such a broad, like, hey, this is what you should do, without understanding what the person's goal is. If you're trying to long-term buy and hold, okay, what areas are you looking into? I mean, this is anything. What area you're looking into, why, what's going on in that area? Are people moving in? Are people moving out? Are there businesses? Are there jobs? Like, these are all things that you should be checking off your list as you're, making your strategy and kind of looking at things. Why are you even doing this to begin with? What is the goal behind all your investment strategies? Because all these questions are going to help you identify, which one is going to be best for you. Because real estate is a slow game. You're going to buy a property, and you're going to have probably issues. Who knows? Especially if you decide to rent it out.
So let's say we're going with the buy and hold approach,
sure.
right? Somebody wake up this morning and say, oh, I see, real estate is a good thing to do. I have no experience, but I want to be an investor, because that's usually how it goes, right?
Do you have cash, right?
Right, that's the next question.
Do you have cash?
What's your capital?
Because if you have cash, well, how much of it do you have? Because at this point in time, if it's an investment property, you need to put down more cash. So now we're not talking just, your FHAs, VAs, things. They don't actually put down anything. Your FHA is 3.5%. With an investment property, it's up to 20%. I think everyone's going to vary at this point, but it's up to 20% that you're going to be required to put down. So do you have the cash? And if you say, yeah, I got the cash. Okay, well, where are you looking? I don't know. You tell me. Okay, well, I can tell you, being a realtor, I can tell you about X, Y, and Z in the area, but you, as anybody that's purchasing, and especially if you have an investment philosophy, strategy, have an idea where you want, because this is, in the end, your investment. I am here to help you, but this is your investment. So in the end, you're going to be the one, essentially, with that asset, not me. So do you want to cry at night, or do you want me to cry at night? Because I can't cry at night if it's not my asset. So identify where you want to, right? Any other?
Yeah. So you are in the what market? The Raleigh market?
Right.
Okay. And how did you identify that this was a profitable market for you? What kind of, indicator did you see out there that told you, this is where I want to be compared to, let's say, Northern Virginia, for example?
Well, I was living in Raleigh at the moment, so I'm not going to move somewhere else to go and learn that market all over again. And I was semi-familiar with it at the time, still learning to this day about Raleigh. There's so many hidden gems. There's so many things that I still need to learn about it. So it's more or less just where I was at the moment, being in Raleigh already and just seeing that this is a growth state, a growth city. I see there's opportunities everywhere, literally. Every day I blink is another opportunity. So that's part of the big reason why I was like, I can't move anywhere else. I have to stay here, because it's somebody as young as me. If I grow with this city, oh man, things could be a big different.
Right. Now, is it safe to say that this market is very aggressive right now?
Very. I mean, I think the entire country is.
Right.
So you definitely want to be just as aggressive with everybody else. I was actually on a call this morning, and they were talking about how they've seen people put, deposits of $200,000 on a home that they've never seen before. So, and obviously the price range is going to vary depending on where you're looking and exactly what kind of home that is and how deep your pockets are. But that can kind of give you an idea. Like, people are actually putting like life savings, I think personally, into purchasing right now. Right. So is it aggressive? Oh yeah. And is there going to be a slowdown? I think that's the next question that everybody wants to know. Right.
I came across.
I don't know.
It could be. We'll see. I mean, I'm no expert.
I am not a time traveler. I cannot predict time.
I came across a loan officer for on a couple days ago, and we had a conversation that kind of, you know, had me thinking. He purchased a home last year for 181, right? 181,000, and he just recently back in January he did an appraisal. It's been a year.
Yeah, it's probably like
It's
250, 300.
270 something. You mentioned.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like, what?
Yo, I've seen a lot of people purchase homes in the beginning of 2020, sell it now for 100K, 200K, depending on the price range.
Big come up.
That's
Yeah.
essentially every year you got 100K, depending on the price range. I think this one was at least in the 500. So if you're in the 500 price range, you're probably looking at 200 equity in the past 2 years. If you're, I would say, 250 to maybe 4, you're probably looking at 50 a year. But that just, yeah, it was pretty. I was looking, I was like, man, these people have been living in the home for 2 years, and just like that, with a snap of a finger, they just gain all this equity. And I was like, hey, what can you do?
Well, you know, imagine if you have that, you know, that patience to buy and hold for 15 years, and you know you have that increase.
Understand your strategy.
Like that. Yeah, have a strategy for it.
Yep.
But all that requires research and education, and you got to go out there. Nobody's gonna come and feed you that in bed.
Right.
So
You
gotta
can
get out
always
there.
reach out to someone in the market to help you, right? You don't always have to, and that's one thing. That's why you have. I think that's why realtors are very, very, really, really helpful. It's because they know the market. So if you want to take the time to go and do the research, you know, by all means, but just go reach out to a realtor and just ask questions. Like, I would hope at least most real estate agents out there are going to be more than happy to help. So, you know, you don't always have to do it. You can just literally reach out to the next person that's already doing it and pick their brain. And it's simple as something as small as that could really help you and identify exactly what you should do.
Advice for a seller in this market.
Do you like money?
Advice for a buyer.
Save money.
Okay.
Oh man, I mean, for any seller, I think the tough part for any seller is, you know, are you gonna have a place to stay? And there's strategies around of making sure that you'll have a place, in ways. And there's realtors out there that have a plan, a strategy of how to go about doing that. So if you do want to know what that is, by all means, give me a call, give me a ring, day or night, weekend, whatever fits your boat.
I'm gonna give you some example here, and I want you to, just give me advice based off of the portfolio.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna do this.
Oh yeah, I'm not prepared for this,
Yeah.
by the way, so I don't know
so
what's
it's
coming.
gonna be very many. So these are just scenarios, all right? Fresh out of college, student looking to purchase his first home.
Okay.
What's your advice for
Does
the guy
this person
right now?
have any job history?
His first job, just got his first job. He's getting started in the corporate environment. What do we do for this individual? What's your advice?
Definitely look into partners. Or you can look into any first-time home buyer programs. I mean, your best bet is going to be going FHA, but because this is your very first job, I don't know what the saving account look like. I don't know what the cash looks like. And because I don't know what the cash looks like, if the cash is heavy, then hey, go FHA, you'll be fine. But if the cash isn't heavy, find a partner that has the cash. And you guys can go into the deal where it's like, yep, maybe you have the job, maybe you have the consistent income, maybe you have the credit, and that other person has the cash. Just, hey, yo, you help me on the cash aspect, I get this on this aspect, and just work that deal out, essentially. Maybe you give that person some equity because they helped you with the cash, and maybe after X amount of years when you go to sell, or, maybe you decide to go rent it out, now you can give that person their checks, kind of pay them out for helping you out in that position. Now, it's going to be a tough person to find. Because one, you're asking probably for a good chunk of money, and you're asking this person to be trustworthy to go ahead and
Trust you with that. Yeah.
trust you with that asset to make sure you take care of it.
Rate there.
Yeah. So that would be that scenario.
Okay. Next up, we have a single mother with a lot of financial situation that she's trying to get sorted, but she has a stable job, and she just can't seem to get it going in terms of securing her home. What's your advice there?
Again, cash.
Cash.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, depending, because obviously you mentioned the single mother financial situation. I would say figure out your financial situation first. Identify like, hey, what debt can you take off the table? Because any loan that you get, it's always they're gonna look at your debt to income ratio, and that's gonna impact significantly how much of a home you can get. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you have to be under a 30. I'm not a loan officer, so I believe it's like a 30 or 40% of a debt to income ratio. Please, loan officers, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or reach out. I should say reach out to your loan officer, because I am not one.
Gotcha. Next up, we have. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, identify if you're having financial issues. I would say fix those before trying to look for any sort of real estate property.
Gotcha.
Real estate.
Couple going through a divorce.
Don't buy a home.
and okay, all right. That's that.
Don't buy one. If anything, just sell the one that if you guys even are. Oh, go ahead. Finish this.
No, I was just gonna say, going through a divorce, selling that house, and parting ways. What's your advice for them parting ways? Buy one or rent?
Well, sell and
of
distribute
course.
the interest of the property in itself. And when that is settled, then you can go ahead and purchase, or you can go rent, kind of do it. But make sure the divorce is settled first.
And these are only just example too. Yeah. So it's just like, there could
this
be
is only
so
my
many
opinion.
Exactly.
These are all my opinions.
Right.
Kind of what I would advise anybody in certain scenarios. So if you have something that's better, please reach out to me. My name is Ronnie Polonies. Find me on IG. You can find me on Facebook. I don't use TikTok like that. MySpace, bro. Reach out. Yeah. But yeah, I would say wait until the divorce is finalized, and then you can go back out there and purchase and everything, especially in North Carolina.
Okay, that's fair. And then you have your bros and individuals with the cash, but the credit ain't looking right. So what's your advice for
find a partner, or hey, work on your credit. Yeah. Plan ahead, man. This is what real estate really is. Anyone can purchase. Yeah. Anyone can purchase real estate. Yeah. You just gotta really plan. Plan and just identify. What is missing, or how could I make my financial situation better? I mean, your credit report card is literally your credit. Right? The higher your credit, the better it's going to be for you. The less of a risk the bank is going to see you. So if you can go ahead and do that and help yourself on that end, and at least make money where you're making consistent income, you will be able to. But it's all discipline. It's all planning. It's all knowing why you even want a home. It's all just everything just goes down to planning. To be honest, man, like everybody can get one. Don't let this process look like it's scary, it's daunting. It is not. Like, I went through it my very first time, and I said, that is it. As a realtor, my first time, I was like, that is it. There's a lot of pieces in it as a realtor, but looking at it from a buyer's perspective or a seller perspective, it's like a 1-2 punch, especially if you have a realtor doing everything for you. All you got to do is sit back and make sure everything goes smooth.
Right.
But it's truly, indeed, all in the planning. I think it's just a lack of planning that goes on. And also a lack of knowledge of just what goes on in a real estate transaction. That's just the one thing I would definitely say. Just learn as much. And if you don't want to learn, reach out to a realtor. I mean, Google, literally, realtor near me. You'll find a ton of them. Give one of them a call and say, hey, I'm looking to get a home. What do I need to do? They'll tell you.
Right.
The first thing, honestly, you should really be doing is reaching out to your loan. You could reach out to a realtor, get insights, right, to help you identify if this is even a place you want to be. Then you want to reach out to your loan officer to get that pre-approval. Let the realtor know, hey, I got the pre-approval. Go out there, go start shopping for the home. Go find the home that you want to put an offer on. Put an offer. Hopefully it gets accepted. If not, keep making offers until you get one that's accepted. At that point, throw your deposits down on everything. Now everything is the hard part is done.
Right.
Now you just got to go. Now you got to make it to the end of the closing table where you get to sign those papers, and now the home is yours. But I literally just explained the process in maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, but it took you a while to also get that yourself. So you got to kind of, it'll be unfair to expect, everyone to get it
No, I don't expect anyone.
off the fly
it
like
took,
that.
It took me, I would say, a couple of months for me to actually understand. And every day there's something new that I learn in real estate.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the one thing that keeps me going. I don't know everything in this industry. There's something always new every single day that I have the ability to learn. And I love learning. So, especially if it's within my industry, it's the best way to keep going. I mean, the more information I have, the better I can help people.
Right.
So
that's amazing. I'm glad you were able to kind of give us some gem today and share a little bit about what it is to live in that,
this world called real estate.
Yes, the real estate environment. I just, was trying to put some questions out there for people who may have questions, but,
And if you still have additional questions that we didn't cover today, feel free to reach out to us on either my Instagram, my personal, Ronnie Polonies, or even the Walk and Grow. Reach out to us, even if you want to hit me up. I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you guys my number, 919-728-2086. Again, that is 919-728-2086. Give me a call and just let me know, like, hey, I was listening to podcasts, man. I need some tips. I need some pointers so I know exactly where you're coming from, and I could definitely give you the OG game and make sure that you are well taken care of. But, again, do not make real estate daunting.
Right.
Please.
And as we are finishing up, I think it's a good point for those who, get to the end of this episode. Give us your best takeaway of this episode. Like, what was one thing that stood out to you? And you will potentially receive a candle in your mail sometime soon. But I want you to be able to tell us what, was your biggest takeaway of this episode, so we can, it's a self-evaluation for ourselves as well, so we know that we're providing the right content to you and not just a bunch of blah 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 blah.
I'm curious though, now that you mentioned, what was your biggest takeaway from this?
My biggest takeaway is to have a plan, have organized, necessarily like have the right steps of how you want to go about doing what you need to do. Because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself stuck in ways where you won't even have the willingness to continue in that endeavor. So just have a plan, do as much research as you need to do, and reach out to the right people.
Yeah, that's it. I think you pinned it perfectly. Reach out to the right people, especially if you don't want to do the research. Let the people have already done excuse me, the people have already done the research that you're probably thinking about that you have to do. So save yourself a little bit of time and stress, and go give that stress to somebody else.
Exactly. Well, but that was it. I think I just got the Rona, thanks to Ronnie.
Sir.
So now I'm going to have to deal with that for the next 2 weeks. Thanks for spreading it all over the place. But anyway, this was fun. On to the next one.
Focus is just leveling up, cause I know the life I want. I'm just setting it up. Removing those that's close who try messing it up. Can't wait for champagne toast with the relevant bunch. Like, what's up? Yeah. Like, what you do, homie? What's your vision? How you thinking? How you move, homie? And is you cool, homie? You thinking building, then that's something we could do, homie.